would you please share with us about your experience when you took initiation or sannyas with Osho?
Although I joined Osho in 1969, in March 69, that time there was no sannyas. But we were fully aware that time his name was Acharya Rajneesh. Acharya Rajneesh is our master. We were fully aware. He refused that time to become a master. No? He was not ready to initiate anybody. But we, from our heart, we have already surrendered. We were a bunch of people, over 100 people or 200 people those days. So we were surrendered to Osho. No? And we, Acharya Rajneesh, and we treated him like a master. So actually we became disciples from our side. But Osho has not given any formal initiation. It started in 70s. I was a student, so I didn't get time or money to go to the Mount Abu camp to take sannyas in 71 when I received a letter from Bhagwan that you should come and take a sannyas. Your name is also, Osho has also decided a name for me. But I had an engineering course and there was very tight schedule. I didn't have leisure time and didn't have enough money for traveling. So I could go only in 72 in Bombay to take sannyas from Osho, when Osho was in Woodland. That time I was in final year of my engineering. So Osho told me that you are in last year of your study. If you take sannyas, I have a doubt that you may not complete your study. And he was right. He was right. So he told me to first go and complete your study. And also told me that because our parents didn't have a house in Kathmandu, they were living in a rented house. We had some land. Also knew everything about our family. So he knew that I have a plot of land in Kathmandu, but there is no house. So he told me that before taking sannyas, you build a small house for your father and mother, then you can come and live with me. And also told me that he has a doubt that if I take sannyas, I may not be able to complete my study. And already I have spent so many years in engineering college. So also told that it is wise that you go and first finish your exams, become an engineer, and build a small house for your parent, and then come to me. So I did the same. I completed my study, built a small house for my parents, and we will surprise you know, the same day we had a house warming party. The same day we got Grih Pravesh Puja in Nepal. The day we had Grih Pravesh Puja, it was just a small house in Tahachal. The night we had a Grih Pravesh Puja, and next morning I escaped for Pune. I went to Pune, I took sannyas from Osho. Because all the promise was fulfilled. I had built a house and I had completed my study. I was already in government job. So I went to Pune and I took sannyas from Osho. And although my surrender has already happened in 1969 and a master-disciple relationship was established, I was writing to Osho. He was kind enough to reply my letters. And whenever I met him, I always considered him my master. I started calling him Bhagwan even before he was called Bhagwan in 70. I was calling him Bhagwan from 69. So relationship was there, but initiation has its own value. That I realized after initiation. Because I was trying to do meditation in my college and in Kathmandu before initiation, but my meditation was never deep before initiation. And I had always problem in going into no mind or into silence or going deep in meditation. But after initiation, it becomes very easy. And at the time of initiation itself, I had a first satori. I went into no mind. The moment also touched my third eye and gave me my malala and my name. The moment he touched me, I screamed such loudly that whole audience was disturbed. Those days there was no Chance Auditorium. So sannyas was happening in a carports in Pune. A small carports, only a bunch of people could sit there, and also was speaking without microphone because we were only 13, 14 people. So I cried so loudly that everybody got disturbed, and I started crying and crying and crying. There was so much pain in my heart, and it looked to me that a dam has been broken and the river wants to flow. I was a closed person, and after he touched me, he gave me mala. The gate of the dam was open, and the emotion started flowing in a big speed. I couldn't check myself. So I started crying and disturbed the whole interview. Also was kind enough, because some people in the interview got angry and they wanted to remove me. But Osho said, then let him let go, and don't disturb him. So he was very kind enough. Otherwise, friends were trying to remove me from the car porch because they were disturbed. They were not listening to Osho. Osho was talking without microphone, but it took 1 hour. After 1 hour, when sannyas initiation was over, we came back to our room, and I was in such ecstasy. I have never experienced that type of joy before in my life. Now I experienced several times, but that was my first experience of Satori, first experience of no mind. It happened at that time of initiation. And when Osho was initiating me, I could see that the whole atmosphere changed. It looked to me that everything has become orange. He also used to wear those days only white dress, white gown. But it looked to me that his gown, color of his gown is changing. It is becoming orange. His chair also become orange. Then floor, the marble floor, the tile floor, it also become orange. Then everything, the people, there are many people who were sannyasi, many were non-sannyasi. Non-sannyasi were wearing ordinary clothes. So that color also changes. And the whole wall that was white washed, that become red. So everything become orange. So I was surprised. I'm getting mad or what? I tried to rub my eyes. I'm in illusion here, or I'm in hypnosis. I tried to break my hypnosis, but I don't know what happened. Everything turned into a very beautiful psychedelic orange color. Later on, I read in books that when people take LSD, they see psychedelic colors, and they see they had psychedelic psychic experience. But to me, it happened by touch. No, I was seeing different color in the existence. Everything was red. All the trees in the ashram garden turned red, and it lasted for about half an hour. Whatever I was seeing, everything was in orange color, because that was the color of sannyas. And I could see Bhagwan's grace, his love, his energy. And so many things happened which cannot be explained into words. It was not a verbal experience, it was experience of the heart. My heart opened, and it looked to me as if I know Bhagwan from many lives. And it is a very intimate relationship. And as if I have joined him again, as if I have found what I was searching for, as if I have lost a dear friend of mine and I got him, a beloved. I lost him in some trade fair or somewhere. If you lose your friend and you get after several years, how much happy your heart becomes. The same thing happened to me. He looked to me that as if I got the thing I was searching for. But in the room also there was so much ecstasy. Wherever I used to see, I see with different colors. Then on the ceiling, I started crying because it was a high ceiling hall. Somji Estate building we were staying, it was a high ceiling hall. Suddenly I saw Osho on the one corner of the ceiling, no? His head. So I started crying out of joy. but people could not understand what is happening. So whole night I had experience, several experience, and it looked to me as if I am flying into the sky. Sometime I go down, sometime go high, and as if I don't have any weight in my body. I'm like a feather, and I can fly high, I can come back. I could not sleep for several days, and that night I could not sleep for for a minute. But I was in ecstasy. I was in a divine madness. The next morning, I realized that I'm a different person. That's why I insist so much for mala and sannyas to my new friends, because it is one thing to follow, to read Osho, to do meditation without initiation. People say that I am meditating, I am reading Osho. What is the need of mala? What is the need of initiation? But I know the difference. Without initiation, your meditation cannot reach that height. Without initiation, you cannot surrender your ego. And unless you surrender your ego, you cannot go into no mind. It's very difficult to go into no mind with an ego. So initiation is a must. And after initiation for 10 days, that was 10 days camp in Pune, 10 days I was in ecstasy. I was in divine madness. After on the last day of camp, my friends wanted to return from Pune. I wanted to stay there several months. I didn't come back. I stayed there for 4 months. But my friend wanted to come back. So we had a darshan on last day. So I remember on 11th October, I had my initiation. I cried so much. And on 20th October, I have second darshan. It was a leaving darshan for my friends. But I was going to stay, so for me it was not a living darshan. But that day I was in so much ecstasy that the moment they opened the door of Lao Tzu and allowed us to go, I rushed to sit near Bhagwan. I could not check myself. I could not keep patience that I should go in the gentle pace as other people were asked to walk very gently. I started running towards Bhagwan. And Bhagwan was having, there was one famous Hindi film director, Anand, and Anand with his girlfriend, they were having private talk with Bhagwan. They were allowed few minutes before us, just 5 minutes before us. So they were talking to Bhagwan, and we were allowed 5 minutes after. So I rushed, and Bhagwan saw me my madness, that Mukta wanted to check me that I should not disturb the interviewer. But Bhagwan stopped Mukta and he asked me to sit very close to his leg. So I sat near his feet. I sit near his feet and touch his feet maybe in that interview several times, several dozen times I touched his feet. People were talking, I had nothing to talk, I was just touching his feet. And several times he blessed me. And I was in so much ecstasy, there was nothing to ask, nothing to say, just to give him thanks. And I was in such a gratitude and such a love. And also look at me and he said, no, it is a chuckling, and you are in ecstasy. Khub masti hai. So I was in ecstasy. I was in divine madness. So that was my experience after sannyas. For 10 days I was in a different world. I used to remember from where I will have come. I have my parents, I have my home, I have my job. I tried to force myself to remember those things, but my mind was not ready to accept anything. It was rejecting. No? It was not ready to accept anything that I have any past connection. I was totally in here and now. The mind was totally, automatically here and now. And it was very difficult for me to think of past or think of future. I was so happy in the present moment that it was very difficult for me to conceive that I have a government job and I have limited vacation and I must go and join the government job, or my parents are waiting for, or I have only money for 10 days. I have been there, gone there for just 10 days, so I had limited money for 10 days. And I stayed for 4 months without money after that. But there was no care, no, there was no worry. So I was in such ecstasy, such a bliss. After that, I was missing that bliss and ecstasy. But with the grace of Bhagwan, with his blessing, now in Tapoban, I have again gained the same stage. I am always in ecstasy and happiness. I don't care what has happened in the past. And now I can consider myself a happy person again. But for several years, I was missing that experience, and I was ready to pay any price to just have one moment of that ecstasy. The 4 months when I live in Pune, I was half mad. People thought I will never be able to do, my parents considered that I will never be able to do job, and I am a useless vegetable. I cannot be able to earn my bread. They have lost all hope. I also had lost my hope. There was no hope that I will be able to work again and earn money and do worldly things. I was so happy there, without money, without any house. It was a very difficult time. Very, very physically, I was in a great hardship. I had no money, no food pass, nobody to support me. Most of the time, I have to use the municipal latrine for my daily use, and I have to sleep in a thatched roof, under a thatched roof with several people under the same roof. It was, everything was uncomfortable, but I was in most comfortable stage. I was most happy. I am ready to pay any price. I was ready to pay any price to get the same ecstasy, same bliss, which was not possible for several years in Kathmandu or in anywhere. I was missing that experience, and I was ready to pay any price to live in the same atmosphere, in the same state of my being. But it was not happening. But now, since few months, you can say, now I don't miss Bhagwan. I feel that I am not constantly in his company. And today there was sannyas. We have seen how ecstatic I was. It was like I remember as if I am being initiated by Osho. The same state of being I was now. The 35 years has no meaning between. I was thinking that I am being initiated by Osho. So same bliss, same energy. And there was same bliss in the meditation hall. Everybody was mad. You can imagine what has happened to me 36 years before. Just imagine the energy there in meditation. Like people were mad. No? People were in ecstasy. Still people are in ecstasy. So now I am very happy that Osho, I am reliving Osho. I have not lost him. I have again found him. I don't miss him at all. Now he's closer than closest person of my heart. He's always very close to me, and I'm always in ecstasy with him. So the same thing has started again.